Are you new to City Heroes or a returning player and wanting to know about the Arachnos groups in City Heroes? Well, I'm Controlled Chaos, and in this video we will cover about the Arachnos group and how to handle them. First off, the Arachnos group was introduced with the City of Villains expansion, and this was the arch nemesis group to statesmen, with their leader being Lord Recluse, and they have a lot of different units to them. The first main trooper units that they have are called wolf spiders, and wolf spiders like to use pistols, heavy pistols, rifles, grenades, and web grenades for them. And they have a really interesting helmet look that has sort of like fangs on it, and it covers only half their head, and then beady eyes and a bunch on there, giving that spider look. The next one you have is what's called the crab spiders, and these guys have more body armor to them, and they have these forearms that come up over their body that have claws on them, and they'll shoot beams at you and stuff like that. That's really cool and interesting. And their helms look really interesting also, because their helms have a fuller head look cover to them, and that's really interesting also. And they'll carry some weapons too, and they'll slice at you with those arms, and they'll have chain guns and a bunch of different weapons like that. They'll still use the web grenades and stuff like that. Next is the Bane Spider, and the Bane Spider is basically has somewhat the same look as the Crab Spider, but they use maces a lot. And those maces that you'll also see on some of the wolf spiders, especially the lieutenant ones, will shoot beams and they'll bash you with them and stuff like that. They'll still use web grenades and that kind of thing. After that, you have what are called the Night Widows. And the Night Widows, the way they stand out is they're predominantly female characters in black and red, and they have this dome-shaped helm. And they use a lot of poison weapons and slashing and stuff like that type of attacks. Sort of like your claws and your spine type weapons. They may have some mental attacks with them when you get to certain ones, such as the actual Night Widow themselves. But if you're dealing with like Blood Widows and those types, you won't get the psychic attacks. The next ones are the Fortunatas, and the Fortunatas are very interesting because they have the same somewhat look as the Night Widows, but a majority of their helms, instead of being domed, a high dome, they're flat on the top. So they're this long cylinder with a flat look, and they have a lot of psychic attacks. They're predominantly a psychic attacking group within the Arachnos. Then you have the Tarantulas, which the Tarantulas are the spiders. They're robotic spiders, and they'll shoot venom bolts at you. They'll attack with their claws. Some of them will have different types of things like plasma cannons on them and burning claws. They have armor abilities. There's one that has mental attacks to it, which I found very interesting, that a robot would have mental psychic attacks on you, but it's there. And then you have, cocooning that they can do, so they can hold you just like the web grenade, but instead of a root like the web grenade is, the cocoon is a hold. So you want to be careful with the tarantulas with those. Then you have the arachnobots and drones, and the drones are very interesting because they're sort of hovering and then got dangling legs as they hover in the eyes. And then your regular arachnobots are smaller versions of the tarantulas, and their attacks are mainly beam weapon attacks. And for like this arachnobots, their claw attacks, machine gun attacks, stuff like that that will happen. The beam attacks predominantly come from the drones. And then finally, you have the Moon Mystics. And the Moon Mystics, they float. And they look all bandaged up from almost head to toe, but then they have a red helm that has like no eyes on it, and they use a lot of lightning attacks and stuff like that. So they fly around and have lightning attacks, no real melee attacks to them, but they'll do like the lightning bolt, the lightning blast, and stuff like that. And then of course you have the bosses, and the main boss being Lord Arachnos. And so overall, that is everything that's pretty much in the Arachnos base. So when you're fighting these, your tactics that you use is depending on the type of character you're playing. If you're really sort of soft and squishy like a blaster, then you want to sort of focus on the harder hitting guys. You want to focus on the ones that are going to hold you and stuff like that. Not root you, but hold you. Being rooted as a blaster is okay because you're all ranged damage. If you're melee, however, you want to focus on any of the guys that can root you, which is a lot because a lot of them throw web grenades. So if you're being held back from the group and they're attacking you from range, that makes it so you're not able to attack that much. So you want to take them out very carefully and go that direction. But they are a good group to fight. They are fun, very distinctive on what ones you're fighting and when. You can really distinguish the difference between a majority of them. As in, majority of the groups, you can tell the wolf spider sets separate from the Bane spiders and the crab spiders and the night widows and the fortunas and the tarantulas and the arachnobots and the drones and the moon mystics. So that's a really nice thing about the group. I like fighting them. They're fun. It adds a lot to the game fighting these guys. What are your comments on this? What do you think of this faction in City Heroes? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button as it helps out with the algorithm. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and you'll get more videos with this kind of content along with my No Man's Sky and other stuff. But have a great night.